Welcome back to the ABL review. Here we're talking about the ABL Season 20 Week 4 for the South Division. So, first, let's get the first thing out of the way. We've got Connor and the Grand Rapids Greninjas versus Josh and the... I'm not going to look. It's Saginaw Spiritomb, right. They set a time. Josh wasn't able to make the battle, so unfortunately has to take the forfeit loss. On the plus side, gives Connor his first win of the season. On the downside, we're short of battle. I'm gonna move away from the time where we yell shame at people. Just different time. We've evolved, but that doesn't stop us from having three pretty good battles to talk about. Three pretty exciting battles. So, first we've got Darren taking on Tyler. Now, if you listened to the podcast last week, you'll know that I was very excited at the prospect of having three undefeated teams that didn't face each other until the final 3 weeks of the season. So we were going into a situation where we were going to kind of have like some top dogs in the South. But things changed this week. So let's hop into this first battle. So Darren gets a good lead here, misses the Pyro Ball. Pretty unfortunate because there's a burn chance and that would have done a lot of damage. I think oh no, this is not choiced Cinderace. We see that later. I don't really get this whole substitute Piloswine set. I feel like this was probably for a specific threat on Tyler's team. Let's real quick take a look at Tyler's team, see if we can identify what that was supposed to be. Nothing on this team looks to me like sub-Piloswine would have dealt with it well. So I don't get that set. He ends up losing like big opportunities for damage on this Braviary. Granted, I'm sure he wasn't expecting Iron Head. That's a weird thing. But I mean, he could have suspected close combat. That actually would have done more Iron Head plus Sheer Force. No, it would have done less. But I don't really like this set of moves by him here. Kind of awkward. He's now lost like he's basically traded an entire Piloswine for what ends up being Ice Shard damage on Braviary. Granted, that was at least in and he got Rocks Up, but it's at least in part because of the miss from Cinderace. So now this, I'm curious why he decided to Terrasilize here. I know it was his only Terra-able Pokemon at this point, but I still feel like you should probably save that for a better opportunity because now he's at a type disadvantage against Glacier. I'm not sure why he went ground type there. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I guess unless you just want to block Volt switches later on since you've lost your ground type. I guess that kind of makes sense. So eats the Ice Beam here, goes down, gets off a good amount of damage on Glaceon. Now the Cinderace comes in, except it's not the Cinderace because we don't see the Protean activate. But I don't know if this is Choice Scarf, some sort of Choice Locked Hisuian Zoroark. Knocks off the leftovers as the Wish goes up, but that means this next knockoff's not going to do very much damage. He's able to set up a Calm Mind and catch the Wish. Very bad situation, and we see the Snowscape go up. Yeah, because it's not hail anymore. So this is a really weird set. We see the Pyro Ball come out and unfortunately miss. We do see it hit on the next turn, so we know it would have done a lot of damage. 57. It wouldn't have been in KO range. I think we probably get the same. Actually, I mean, it definitely would have fainted there if he'd hit that first Pyro Ball. But Darren's having tough luck here, and it's really setting him back. Looking what he has left, this is his, like, he's got this and this weird Zoroark. I don't think we get to see more of it, but he's running short on offense very quickly. And this Glaceon's getting pretty well set up, and then this Cresselia comes in and gets hard frozen. This is rough, because now this Glaceon's going to be able to get healthy, double Wish there, honestly. Like, he could have gotten another Calm Mind there, it would have been in bad shape. Because his Future Sight goes up, his Corviknight's going to come in and take a bunch of damage from this Ice Beam. Probably could have been KO'd outright if he had gotten that other Calm Mind up instead of clicking double Wish. And then gets crit on the Future Sight. That also saved Darren so much trouble. I don't know if he was going to be able to break past that Glaceon without that crit. But bulk up, quiver dance, like the calm mind, those sort of bulky setup moves where you're just going to be like recovering, setting up bulk and attack. You open yourself up to crits because you're not attacking as much and you're getting pounded with attacks. So that, 2.5% chance for a crit gets expanded. I kind of wish they'd rework the crit system. Like the crit chance goes up if you have defensive setup. Just because then it's like, I think that's why it's there, just so that way when a Pokemon sets up defensively like that, it's not like, oh, it's over. I think that would make it more of a risk reward type scenario, and you'd get less random crits that like matter when a Pokemon's not set up. I like that idea. So then the Raikou comes in. Raikou has a great matchup here because now all the ground types are gone, even the terastallized ones. So Raikou's going to come in here, drop a Thunderbolt. Corviknight's down. Cinderace's going to come in. Oh, no, it's not the Cinderace. He got me again. And that's going to end up going down to the Thunderbolt. So, yeah, I guess that was Scarf Zoroark. He's going to get KO'd on the Volt Switch there. Cresselia is going to come in. That Future Sight's not even going to come to fruition, unfortunately. Darren goes down hard here. But Tyler gets his first win of the season, and I think I went back. This might be his first win in quite a few seasons. I think since like season 16 or 17. So congrats to Tyler. What did I say? Did I say Tyler or Kyle a second ago? Well, either way, it was Tyler. And that knocks down one of our undefeated teams of the season. So we'll have to see how things move forward. I kind of spoiled it already, but now we have Michael versus Dakota. Now, I said in the podcast last week that veteran players versus new players. Hold on. Sorry, I'm not editing anything. Like veteran players, even when they're struggling, taking on like new honor roll players, I really feel like they tend to be big roadblocks. So I kind of predicted that Michael would struggle here, and let's get into this. There's a lot to talk about here. So gets a bad matchup, gets really thrown for a loop here when this special Arcanine comes out and goes for this. So we talked to him after the battle. Sounds like this Ceruledge was designed to be like Fizz Def and be able to take hits from Arcanine and set up Swords Dances and get those weak armor boosts and be able to sweep. And when you look at the matchup, if that had gone how he hoped, like if he came in on a Flare Blitz or something, it does very little damage. Then he's able to get up a Swords Dance and he's faster than everything, and he could sweep potentially from there. Still has to play around this Bisharp a little bit, but I mean, there's potential for it for sure. So this special Arcanine definitely throws him for a loop, and I don't think he realizes right away because he goes for this Swords Dance here, and he's gonna have to switch right out. Probably should have saved that HP and gone into Florges once he realized it was special. This is kind of a baffling play by Dakota because he shows off pretty much immediately that he doesn't have anything to deal with this Florges. Like, Strange Steam is his best thing to hit it. That does 7% damage. But thankfully, he doesn't have to worry about it because the baton passes out into the Espeon. This Espeon also throws for a big loop here because we don't see an item on it. Absolutely destroys the Weezing there. Kind of weird that he just let that go down, I think. This also seems like kind of a dumb play by Dakota, but this was Choice Scarf, so this reveals that the Espeon is Choice Scarfed. So, good information to get there. Although it costs you a Pokemon. But now you know it's Choice Scarfed, you know it's locked into a Psychic type move. You can go out into your Dark type, force it out. Unfortunately, Michael has like the perfect counter to Bisharp. As somebody who has Great Tusk on their team, I'm really loving Great Tusk. There just really is able to shut down some of those physical attackers that are hard to deal with. So you see the Night Slash come out, do pretty much no damage. Latios is going to come out, eat a big knockoff. Get rid of that Expert Belt. But he does let this go down to the Luster Purge. Kind of weird, because I did the same thing to a Latios last week. So I think Michael's slipping a little bit here. He got two big surprise KOs from his Choice Scarf baton past Espeon. But now there's a couple things he's revealed. This Gallade, not in good shape at this point. This Florges, much less of a threat at this point. Now that we know that, like, worst case scenario for Dakota, it's Synthesis and Moonblast, right? Can't really pass to Espeon, those Calm Minds again, not until that Bisharp is gone. And nothing else really wants to get Calm Minds. So worst case scenario, this has Moonblast and Synthesis, which is not really, doesn't really beat Arcanine unless it gets really out of hand. And it can pretty reliably be KO'd by Bisharp. So I think despite the fact that he was in a rough spot to start here, I think he's kind of recovered well and is in a semi-safe scenario now. Dakota, that is, got to kind of stabilize his position. So honestly, and after that, we're back to where we started. We got the Latios got the KO. The Glacier comes in, and we go back to Arcanine coming out. It takes negligible damage from the Avalanche. It's basically back to turn 1. This time, he gets crit on the Flamethrower. Not worth that body press damage. And I was going to take the Scorching Sands here with Florges. Now, Dakota he makes kind of an aggressive move here, but I'm here for it. I respect it. At least if I'm remembering, though. Yeah. So, goes hard into Kleavor. So that Glacier is at 24% when it's switched out. That means at this point, unless we see a double switch, which we don't, we see the Wish go up. At this point, he's gonna, on turn 16, he's gonna be able to click Stone Axe. One of two things is gonna happen. A, he's gonna hit one of these 4 Pokemon here. And the rocks are gonna go up, and he's got no way of clearing hazards at this point, and the Glacier is gonna be dead upon switching. Due to the unless he's got heavy duty boots, which we haven't seen, but spoilers, he doesn't have heavy duty boots. Or he's gonna switch hard into the Glacier, and he's gonna take a Stone Axe and faint anyways, right? So he goes for the Stone Axe, and it allows a lot of damage to go on that Florges, enough so that it actually drops it below the point where it can come in on rocks. So that Stone Axe killed this incoming Glacier, because now the rocks are up and it's dead, and that outgoing Florges that Baton passed out is also now fainted because it can't come in on rocks. So one attack took it from a 4-5 to a 4-3, and nothing's going to be able to catch that Wish either. So Clodsire is going to come in, smart move, goes for the Toxic, but at this point, this Arcanine doesn't need to do anything. And Dakota takes the long, arduous task of trying to sack this Clodsire. I don't remember. So yeah, we see the Will-O-Wisp come out, so that way it's doing even less damage. Yawn. Can't yawn a Pokemon who's already toxic. Maybe he's predicting a switch. But I think in the chat at this point, we were saying that Dakota should go into Kleavor, let that go to sleep with the yawn. Nothing else can be put to sleep, and then you can go out into Bisharp and it's not threatened by Clodsire. If he wants to hard switch out, Florges is dead. Espeon can't come in. You're gonna KO the Cerule Edge. That's probably what I would have done. Might have expedited this process. But what Dakota did is also fine. He just slowly let Arcanine go down. I'm gonna crack open a Diet Coke here. And I think Michael might either he doesn't know how Yawn works, or he's just trying to kind of catch a switch here, right? Because he can't really safely go out into anything. He's just kind of buying turns until that Arcanine goes down. There's a little bit of chip damage. I think Dakota didn't really have to Morning Sun up to do anything to get out. It's just a matter of time, right? You're not winning this 1v1, but also you want a safe switch. I probably wouldn't have bothered Morning Sunning personally. And he doesn't on this final turn here. So the Arcanine goes down, and then he goes into Latios, which probably didn't need to. That's not really, I don't know. That's a whatever play. But Kleavor is going to come in on that Draining Kiss. Nothing's going to be able to take the Night Slashes on the switch in. Dakota's got this sewn up. Very well done by him. Very nice and safe end game, except for this unnecessarily risky Stone Axe here, because he lives that Power Gem. If he misses that Stone Axe, then he's KO'd, then the Kleavor KOs him. And then, he didn't show Sucker Punch on Bishop. I would have to assume he had it. I had his set. I can't remember for sure. But, like, then maybe there's a speed, like, then, like, I think there's a chance. There's, like, a decent opportunity, like, if this is Shadow Sneak Close Combat on Ceruledge, which is not outside the realm of possibility. He could actually come back here. Unnecessarily risky Stone Axe. Could have just gone for Night Slash or X's or whatever. But ends up picking up with a win there. Well done, Dakota. Smart, safe endgame for the most part, other than this. But, you know. And that's going to lead us to our marquee match of the week. Hang on. Hold on. I got it here. Here we go.
Marquee match of the week. Now we have a theme.
So here we go with our marquee match of the week. We have, how's this over here? We've got Papcoon and the Texarkana Toxics taking on Kyle and the LA Kingdras. Sorry, this is he had the same team name for such a long time, and takes some getting used to. Okay, so Papcoon brought the sun. Kyle's team, he was texting me a lot before the battle, doesn't match up particularly well against the Sun. Gonna be kind of hard to make work, but I think I think he has enough tools between, like, how physically defensive Gliscor is. You got a fire immunity in Chandelure, and then, like, the type advantage in Primarina. I think you could probably take on Gouging Fire, but let's get into it. So, we got Ninetales coming out first. Hard Baton Pass. I think it's an interesting call, just a Baton Pass out right away. I think that does buy you some, like, obviously it buys you momentum, so I don't hate it. Hard into the Venusaur here, and Weather Ball not going to be able to 2-hit KO, and then actually has to eat a dual Wing Beat, and now this guy's down. That sucks. Ogerpon's going to come in, go for the knockoff. Gets a crit, which honestly kind of salvages this bad position he's in, because this Gliscor is kind of an issue, and knockoff was not the right play. Even though the sun is up, I feel like an Ivy Cudgel would have been the way to go, because A, that has an increased crit rate, and B, super effective, and stab. There's a lot going for it that knockoff doesn't have, because getting rid of the Toxicorp doesn't do anything for you. Personally not a fan. And then has to eat a dual Wing Beat for his trouble. And this Gliscor is just going to get a little bit healthier. Hornleech also not going to be enough. I think Ivy Cudgel at that range definitely would have gotten the KO. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Papcoon can show me some calcs that prove me wrong. But I think I definitely think, despite the sun, it would have done more than Hornleech. Let me think. Hornleech is neutral, stab, 75 base power. So what is that? That's like just under 100, or is that just over 100 base power? 108 roughly. And then Ivy Cudgel is 100 base power, stab, 150 in the sun, halved, 75, super effective, 150. Yeah, would have been notably stronger than Hornleech. Actually, it would have been stronger than knockoff too on this turn. And that's disregarding the crit. So yeah, now Papcoon's down 2 Pokemon, lost a bunch of turns of Sun, and he's got some damage on Gliscor to show for it, but that's about it. Now Gouging Fire comes out, and so he gets the speed boost. That is something to take note of, because that means I don't think, I could be wrong, I think he can't be fully attack invested if that's the case. I'm actually going to pull up a calc on the side here while we talk about it. But I think that's something to look out for with the like booster energy mons. Like if they get a kind of a weird thing, like I had when you watch the North one, you're gonna see I had Great Tusk that got a speed boost. I had to like run max HP and max speed to get the speed boost, but I wanted that. Okay, so this might just be a oh, hold on, that's a Tim. Oh yeah, so if he's Jolly, he has to be running no more than 168 attack in Jolly. That tells you that this is not as strong of a Gouging Fire as you probably would have been led to believe, meaning your calcs are much more favorable. If it were me, I probably would have gone right into Primarina here. It's what Primarina was designed to do, was take this on. Instead, he lets the Gliscor go down to Heat Crash. Probably want to leave that around just because it's a ground immunity. It's an electric immunity. But then after that goes down, we do get the Primarina coming in. Hard checked by the Magnezone. Gets a Para. Paras suck. Okay, not gonna beat around that, but doesn't really end up like, yeah, he gets parried there, but I don't, unless he was going for an Ice Beam there, don't think it matters. Hard to say for sure because he just lets the Slowking go down. Then the Future Sight comes out. Maybe that puts it in KO range. I'm not sure. But Kyle getting rid of the rocks, smart move. But gonna go back ahead and set up the Sun. Kind of a weird sequence here by Papcoon. He lets this go down. This is where he should have gone into the Gouging Fire, because now you have a speed boost, but I think he goes into the Magnezone and then sacks the Donphan. Oh, not quite sacks the Donphan. Now he goes into the Gouging Fire. As the Swords Dance comes out. Kind of a weird, you wasted a couple Sun turns and I guess it was a net gain on Donphan, so I don't know how I feel about it, but ended up kind of working out. And at this point, we see an item eventually on this thing, right? Yeah. So now Kyle finally goes into his Chandelure to block that, gets the U-turn damage off, just chipping. I think this also shows that this is a Scarf Meowscarada, because it outsped there. Kyle thought that this was going to be able to get around it. Unfortunately, he's, smart prep by Papcoon. He thought he was going to fully wall him with this Air Balloon Flash Fire thing. That does work on most Gouging Fires, but Papcoon brought Crunch. Puts him in a really bad position because now he's substituted down. He can get off a Shadow Ball here to do some respectable damage. But he's still going to get cleaned up there with that other Crunch. Now Donphan's going to be able to come back in. He's going to eat that flip turn. Take the knockoff here. Actually lives it due to the fact that he burned the Mago Berry earlier. So I guess well done overall. That sequence ended up working out. Not sure why. I guess Kyle didn't want to go for Flower Trick because he's Scarfed, and then he would have been doing bad damage to the Magnezone. I guess that makes sense. Follows up with another knockoff, and knocks off the leftovers here. But at this point, it's kind of too little too late. I think this is, I can't tell what kind of Primarina this is. Do we see leftovers on it? No, we don't. Maybe this, I don't know what that is. Like the fact that we see 3 attacking moves. Oh no, it's Rocky Helmet. We saw Rocky Helmet. Yeah, I think if he was like Calm Mind or something, he should have been setting him up there. Maybe gives him a chance to live a Thunderbolt and KO back with Surf if he lives. Hard to say for certain. But, Papcoon comes away with the win, and that is all 3 undefeated. Oh, hold on. Am I still filming the right thing? Yeah. And that's all 3 undefeated teams from last week now have losses. So let's go back to the Google Doc, and we're going to check out the standings and just see where everyone's at. So the 3 teams that were undefeated still doing well in the standings. And still, but that really closes the gap. We got 5 teams in the South, all at 1 loss. And then like the distance between first place and 7th place, so in and out of the playoffs, is a 1-game difference. And now, so who's got that win over the Suicunes? Dakota. That's going to be big if he can string together a couple wins. And maybe get 1 more loss from Michael, he could leapfrog him. He unfortunately has these 2 losses here, which do hurt him. But logic would dictate he's faced the top 3 teams already, so he only has the bottom 5 teams to face left now, which puts him in a better position. You can get enough wins out of there. You can definitely catapult yourself into a good playoffs situation. South is very close right now. Even though, the Saginaw Spiritomb are down, they haven't won yet, they're only 1 loss behind the 6th place team here. So you can still make it to playoffs. It's anybody's game. It's still very early in the season. We're not even halfway through the season at the time of recording. Let's take a look at next week's games a little bit. So we've got Michael versus Tyler. Should be interesting to see that. Developing player versus a veteran, but historically unsuccessful player, let's say. Connor got his first win by forfeit. Dakota really needing to put together wins if he wants to get back into... I believe his goal is to get back in the North, and to do that, he's got to make the playoffs at the very least, and he's right on the outside right now. You can try to use Connor as a foothold to get further. Darren versus Papcoon. Just based on how things are going, this could be a very important game in terms of... Papcoon or Darren, whoever wins this is going to actually have a really strong case for a first round bye. Looking forward to that. Josh and Zhang. Kyle's got the week off after that loss. But like I said, Josh still needs to looking for a win. Zhang needs wins to keep his playoff hopes alive. So it should be really exciting to see. I don't believe stats are caught up on... No, they're only caught up through week 4 or through week 3. But let's peek at the MVP, see what's going on over here. 7 KOs for Archaladon, 7 KOs for Hisuian Zoroark. Archaladon didn't get any more this week. I don't think Hisuian Zoroark did. Great Tusk didn't. Grafai did. Gouging Fire got a couple, so Gouging Fire is going to move up that board. Death Leaders are always kind of a mess. Attacks dealt, Great Tusk dealt a few. Hisuian Zoroark dealt a few. Araquanid we didn't see this week. Punching Bag. Clodsire took a bunch. Clodsire is going to climb up that board for sure. Yeah, this is... oh, that's what that is. Okay. But yeah, exciting season so far in the South. Looking forward to seeing more great gameplay from everybody. But I think we can move on, and thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.